so this is an interesting one. Oh, we could have our own lobbyist. Poober could be our own lobbyist. I don't know what we would lobby for, but I'm sure we could pool our resources and have Poober be our lobbyist. Oh, you're doing well, Natalie? I am doing well as well. You hear that? That's the icicles in the tree. All kinds of cracking going on. Of course, Maka. Thank you. You're very busy creating the PMN. I don't know what the PMN is, Poober. We'd lobby for a 1-day work week. That'd be amazing. I'd definitely lobby for a 4-day work week. People die every year from icicles falling. Well, I think that's probably true. These icicles, I think, would just be mildly annoying. I don't think they would actually hurt me. Pops. He's mod in all the other channels. He gets to hang out in this one. Oh, the Poober Moderation Network. Oh, right, of course. I'm so sorry. How did I not know that right away when I saw it? All right, so this article is about an artist who designed a hotel room that's difficult to stay in. So the bed is difficult to get onto and has barely enough space to squeeze around. The bathroom door doesn't shut and gets in the way when you reach for the toilet roll dispenser. And this may sound like a pretty typical TripAdvisor review, but if you stay in the hotel bedroom created by Christopher Samuel, don't rush to post a scathing review. He has actually designed it to be as annoying as possible while remaining just about habitable. Is this live? Why, hello, So What Twitch. It is live. Hi. PMN is the largest purveyor of fake news on Twitch? What? No. Hey, Death Lord, how are you? That sounds stressful? Well, it kind of is. I'm sure he's got a good point. Hang on. So, he says, you probably wouldn't spend more than a night in it in reality. Oh, someone else says that. Says Michael Trainer, creative director of the Art B&B in Blackpool. I think the novelty would soon wear off. Samuel is one of 19 artists who have kitted out a room in the seaside bed and breakfast. And it's hard not to chuckle at the fiendishness of Samuel's adaptations every time you spot another deliberately awkward feature. The upside-down shower gel dispenser is a particular triumph of user unfriendliness. But for him, it's not a joke. By making life difficult for visitors, the artist wants to give them a taste of the access problems faced by many disabled people. I knew people would find it amusing at first, but in reality, when you live that every day, it's not funny anymore, he says. It's inconvenient, it's frustrating, it's humiliating at times. In 2017, Leicester-based Samuel, who uses an electric wheelchair, was forced to live in an inaccessible hotel room as emergency accommodations for 3 months. You saw an article earlier that they have invented a toilet at an angle to make your legs hurt within 5 minutes. It's supposed to get people back to work and out of the bathroom. What? What? That's horrible. Hi, So What Twitch. Are you asking Poober? Wait, what are you asking? That sounds terrible. So this person says, I was technically made homeless by 2 local councils who were arguing over my care costs and access needs, he explains. I couldn't move around the room freely. It was very tight. For me to get in the door, I had to go into a little corner, then I had to shut the door behind me, and I had to reverse out and navigate around the bed. Yeah, that sounds awful. I couldn't sit at the table. I had to sleep in my wheelchair. I couldn't use the bed. I couldn't shut the bathroom door. I couldn't use the toilet. I had to use a bucket. I couldn't wash because there was a shower which wasn't accessible. This is a nightmare. I'm sorry, guys. This is super stressful. But now he gets to show other people what that's like. He doesn't mind if the deliberately inaccessible room he has now designed raises a smile at first. On the surface level, it's quite playful and theatrical, he says, but it's real. Why should I be upset if someone has not experienced what I've experienced? The whole point is for that conversation to be had and for people to think about it. In his room, titled Welcome In, ha ha ha, nice pun, the bed is surrounded by a 3-foot lip, which you must scramble over every time you want to get in or out. The bathroom door doesn't close because it hits the toilet, meaning there's no privacy. There's a particularly ingenious arrangement for watching TV, and other tricks are likely to leave you exasperated if you want to use basic things like bedside lights, shelf, or table. I mean, at least he's not making you sleep in a wheelchair overnight. Oh, you're in charge of my video rights. Oh, that's news. Okay, well, thanks, Poober. Yes, family-friendly Maka. Hey, Thomas, how are you doing? No, none of that, Bick. None of that. We are not doing any of those such things here. They do exist in the real world, but we're gonna live in fantasy for a little while. Your aunt showed you how inaccessible many things are for the handicapped. Yeah, the world really isn't, I mean, we have laws, but it doesn't mean that they get followed. It does encourage conversation, exactly. And yeah, if the world is so inhospitable for people with disabilities, then it makes sense that every once in a while something would be made inconvenient for the rest of us. Brew Crew left us for a month? Where is he? Off enjoying something in the real world, I hope. Taking a Twitch break. Good for him. Have I shown the Egyptian obelisk in Central Park before? I have, Days. When was that last? It's been a little while, though. I'm trying to remember when it was last. A few weeks ago, I think. Good for Brew. That's awesome. Is he still doing, like, voice chat and Discord and stuff? So what, Twitch? Poober doesn't actually manage anything for this channel? Here. Hi, I'm the streamer. I'm Marmite Avocado. So this is my content. And no, I would rather not have my stuff go on YouTube. I appreciate you asking, though. There are lots of people who don't ask and just post it anyway. So I appreciate you asking, but I would prefer not. Thank you, though. You just finished eating? You had a mix of beef hamburger and hash browns with cut up onions and corn. That sounds great. $500 an hour up front for a 3-hour minimum, Poober. That's extortionate and devious. Yeah, I'm trying to think when it was that I last went through Central Park. It was the last time I went through Central Park. Oh, maybe it was one of the morning walking streams? It might have been. Sorry that I can't be more specific than that, Days. Hey, Unicorn, how are you doing? Salted caramel chocolate pie. Oh my goodness. Very jealous about that, Pops. Okay, here's another one. You recommend Demon Days as my manager? Okay, I'll look into that. What ancient chewing gum can tell us about life 5,700 years ago? The dark little blob would be easy to overlook at an archaeological site. Here, I will show the dark little blob. What does that look like to you? It was probably stuck under a desk somewhere. Oh, come on. There we go. Hans Schroeder, a paleogeneticist at the University of Copenhagen, says a student brought it to him from a Stone Age site in Denmark and had a question. Can we get DNA out of this? Schroeder remembered replying, "We don't know, haven't really tried, so let's give it a go." The researchers think ancient people chewed the black-brown substance known as birch pitch, which was obtained by heating birch bark, Schroeder says. He says it's not clear why they chewed the pitch, but it was likely to soften it up before using it as a kind of glue to stick sharp points onto weapons or tools. They may have even used it for medicinal purposes, such as pain remedy for toothaches, because it is a mild antiseptic. These were clues that the bit of chewing gum might contain human DNA, but the researchers expected it to be difficult to sequence it. After all, it is still quite challenging to get a complete ancient human genome from human remains, Schroeder says. But the DNA sequencing went better than anyone could have expected. The researchers were able to reconstruct a complete human genome. Schroeder says this is the first time that an entire ancient human genome has been extracted from anything other than human bones or teeth. The team published its findings in the journal Nature Communications. Thies? I'm not sure I'm saying that right. Thies Jensen from the University of Copenhagen, who was working at the archaeological site, said in a statement that almost everything is sealed in mud, which means that the preservation of organic remains is absolutely phenomenal. The DNA recovered from the gum tells us a lot about this woman who lived about 5,700 years ago. The researchers could figure out what she probably looked like. She had this really striking combination of dark hair and dark skin and blue eyes, Schroeder said. And here is a picture of this woman. As best as they can figure. For some reason, she's got a mallard duck next to her. Those features were common to other hunter-gatherers at the time in the area, he adds, which is now an island in Denmark called Lolland. He says the woman's ancestors were hunter-gatherers from continental Europe. She does not have any traces of ancestry from a group that had a very different lifestyle, farmers. Agricultural communities were beginning to spring up in northern Europe at the time. Bick, you have a crime family now? What? Like the results after a big night on beer. Yeah, I mean, it did kind of look like that, but no. Gum is a weird thing to invent. Hey, Uncle Bill, how are you doing? Hey, Silver Angel. Breath mints. Yes, thank you for the follow, So What? Much appreciated. Also, thank you for asking again. How are you VIP? Well, I did /VIP, and then you became VIP. I don't have that kind of family. I have an avocado family. You think Damien Explorers took that photo? It's possible. Very possible. Hey, To Witherword, how are you? You were referred here by another streamer. Oh, well, that's awesome. You're an interior architect. Sounded like some cool content for Twitch. Well, that's fantastic. Good for you being an interior architect. I was trained as an architect, but I am not an architect. 5,700 years and she was that dark in Denmark. Apparently, yeah. I mean, who knows how recent the mutation is for the really light skin. I don't know. I'm sure someone knows, but I don't know. But that's really cool that chewing gum led to this discovery. Who knew? An entire human genome. Why did I quit architecture? Well, so there was this little thing, this recession was about to hit, and I could see that it was coming, and I thought, architecture's awfully cyclical. I don't really want to be caught up in that if I can help it. So I decided to go into publishing instead. Which, publishing isn't cyclical, but it's also not healthy. So I am no longer in either industries. Grancy! Thank you for the gifted sub to Acoustic Night. And thank you. Oh, why is this not refreshing? My events are not refreshing. I believe Silver Angel also got a gifted sub. Oh, wonderful, Grancy. Oh, you're so nice. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Oh, your oldest is studying architecture. That's great, Pops. Well, chances are that if they're studying in the United States, I have been to their school. Thank you, Silver Angel. Much appreciated for the 100 bits. Let me turn down the volume on all of my devices because it's very loud. You're an interior designer now, but it's still fun? Yeah. Yeah, interior design, I found it really interesting to learn about that, like elsewhere, like in the UK, they have a separate industry called health and safety, which in the US, a lot of interior designers have taken on health and safety, and a lot of people don't realize that. So there's a lot more technical aspects to interior design than people think. It is not designing like pillows and things. It's like making sure that the spaces aren't gonna, go up in flames, and that, the things that are chosen aren't super toxic and things like that. Oh, it's from Maka Waka to Silver Angel. Okay. I don't know why that hasn't shown up in my events list, but thank you, Maka. I appreciate that. And Silver Angel, welcome to the ABBA crew. Same to you, Acoustic Night. Welcome to the ABBA crew. Do you know that people that are descended from Scandinavians burn in the sun, they can't tan? Well, I'm not descended from Scandinavians, but I certainly can't tan. Yeah, Poober, you and me both. I burn extremely easily. Have I ever had my DNA sequenced? No, and the reason for that is because there's no regulation on what can be done with that DNA info. So until that is a thing, I don't really want that to be out there. Not that I have much choice, because I'm sure some of my relatives have already had their DNA sequenced, therefore mine is probably, like I could be discovered like they've been doing for all those crimes that they're solving. But yeah, I'm not happy that it's not a regulated industry yet. Fim! Hello, Fim! Oh, University of Utah. Yes, I have been there several times. It's a very nice campus. And it's a good school, so that's a good education. Oh, Silver gifted you Damien earlier. That's lovely. That's nice of you, Silver. Maka is gift sub laundering? Ooze! Hello! Thank you for the 5 months. Oh my gosh, 5 months! Thank you, thank you. Sorry guys, I'm way behind. Oh, Ooze had it turned off. Smart. Smart Ooze. Ooze made you have scary dreams last night because he hosted Nightworks? Oh, silly. Silly, silly. Okay, let's see what other fun articles we have. Aha! This was a good one. You thought it was his stream? Oh, thank you for the host, Pops. Alright. The wartime spies who used knitting as an espionage tool. Grandma was just making a sweater. Or was she? During World War I, a grandmother in Belgium knitted at her window, watching the passing trains. As one train chugged by, she made a bumpy stitch in the fabric with her 2 needles. Another passed, and she dropped a stitch from the fabric, making an intentional hole. Later, she would risk her life by handing the fabric to a soldier, a fellow spy in the Belgian resistance, working to defeat the occupying German force. Whether women knitted codes into fabric or used stereotypes of knitting women as a cover, there's a history between knitting and espionage. Spies have been known to work code messages into knitting, embroidery, hooked rugs, etc., according to the 1942 book A Guide to Codes and Signals. During wartime, where there were knitters, there were often spies, a pair of eyes watching between the click of 2 needles. When knitters used knitting to encode messages, the message was a form of nope, that's not right. Steganography, a way to hide a message physically, which includes, for example, hiding Morse code somewhere on a postcard, or digitally disguising one image within another. If the message must be low-tech, knitting is great for this. Every knitted garment is made of different combinations of just 2 stitches. A knit stitch, which is smooth and looks like a V, and a purl stitch, which looks like a horizontal line or a little bump. By making a specific combination of knits and purls in a predetermined pattern, spies could pass on a custom piece of fabric and read the secret message, buried in the innocent warmth of a scarf or a hat. Phyllis Latour Doyle, secret agent for Britain during World War II, spent the war years sneaking information to the British using knitting as a cover. She parachuted into occupied Normandy in 1944 and rode stashed bicycles to troops, chatting with German soldiers under the pretense of being helpful. Then she would return to her knitting kit, in which she hid a silk yarn ready to be filled with secret knotted messages, which she would translate using Morse code equipment. I always carried knitting because my codes were on a piece of silk. I had about 2,000 I could use. When I used a code, I would just pinprick it to indicate it had gone. I wrapped the piece of silk around a knitting needle and put it in a flat shoelace, which I used to tie up my hair. She told New Zealand Army News in 2009. This is nuts! She parachuted in, and then she knitted, and nobody was the wiser because they're like, oh, she's just a lady. Oh, she's amazing. Wait, who's making moves against your crime family, Bic? Oh, right, Maka. That's true. We all have 2 feet, and I'm sure there's some way we could work out a code with the 2 feet as walking. And so, Maka, you could pass codes Maka walking. Hey, Bad Luck IRL, how are you doing? I know! Messages by knitting is next level spies, especially ones that parachute in. It's so cool. I'm just gonna casually parachute in and then find a bicycle and go along.